All right. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the November 19th, 2024 City Council meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
The record will reflect that all members of council are present.
Thank you very much. All right. So throughout this year, we've been recognizing people that are helpers, and we've been doing a whole bunch of proclamations. And for my last one, really excited to present a proclamation to Pastor Greg Laurie. Pastor Laurie, if you could come forward. What we're going to do is first I'm going to read the proclamation. I might say a couple nice things about you. And then we don't normally do this for the people we're giving proclamations to, but we might put you on a timer. You will actually have the mic and you're welcome to say whatever you'd like. And then we will make sure we take a picture up there. We'll probably make sure your family comes in as well since they're going to get referenced in the proclamation. But let me start with, whereas Pastor Greg Laurie has become internationally famous in his pastoral career, but is best known for his relationship to his hometown in Newport Beach, California. And whereas Laurie attended Lincoln as a middle school, Corona Del Mar High School, and graduated from Newport Harbor High School in 1971. And whereas Laurie's conversion story happened on the campus of Newport Harbor High School, a school where he would later be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And whereas Laurie was baptized at Pirates Cove in Newport Beach, a location where he would later hold the largest baptism in American history with approximately 20,000 people in attendance and approximately 4,500 baptisms, which I want to point out when I was talking to his son Jonathan, he wanted me to apologize to our city staff that had to deal with that one. So, noted. And whereas Laurie is the senior pastor of Harvest Christian Fellowship, which is one of the largest churches in America and consistently ranks among the most influential churches in the country. And whereas along with his work at Harvest Ministries, Laurie served as the 2013 honorary chairman of the National Day of Prayer and also serves on the board of directors of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. And whereas Laurie helped lead the filming of a 2023 movie called Jesus Revolution, which filmed Pirates Cove, Crystal Cove, Fun Zone, which showcased the natural beauty and spiritual history of Newport Beach. And whereas Laurie has been the Newport Beach Police Department chaplain for over 25 years, and whereas Laurie has been married to Kathy for more than 49 years, and they have 2 sons, Christopher and Jonathan, and 5 grandchildren. Now, therefore, I, Will O'Neill, Mayor of the City of Newport Beach, on behalf of the entire Newport Beach City Council, do hereby recognize Greg Laurie for his tireless efforts as a helper in Newport Beach and around the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all the members of the council. And I'm really excited about the seal of Newport Beach that you've given to me to take home. I just have to find a place to hang it, maybe at our church here in town. But I'm very honored. And I remember when they gave me the award at Harbor High for their Hall of Fame, I said, maybe you should put me on the wall of shame because my grades were so low. But that is where my life changed in 1970, where for the first time in my life, I heard the message of who Jesus Christ was in the way that I could understand. And I prayed a little prayer, not realizing it would change the course of my life. And I've always loved Newport Beach. Some of you who remember, I remember when Ruby's was called the snack shop and Gulfstream was a little restaurant called the Zoo that we used to go to when we were in high school. I don't think any of you remember this. You're all too young. But just love this city. You don't realize what a great city it is until you travel around and visit other cities and other places. And honestly, there's no place I'd rather live than right here. So we love Newport and we love the wonderful lifestyle and the weather and everything else here. But I'm really grateful, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. You already took a risk giving a preacher a microphone. But thank you, Will. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank all of you as well. And I'm very honored by this. So thanks, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. No. Hang on. So a couple things. Number one, my in-laws and I, with my kids, attended Harvest Crusade this year. And I just want to point out that Pastor Laurie, as part of the sermon, made a pretty solid joke about the city of Newport Beach, and then followed that up with, the mayor of Newport Beach is here, and maybe he didn't appreciate that joke. I thought it was funny, so thank you. And also my mother, I'm not telling it. You got to go watch the sermon. But I will say my mother-in-law was sufficiently impressed that Greg Laurie knew who I was. So anyway, Normally, it's just the person who is receiving the proclamation that takes the picture. I would love it if the Lori family would actually come forward and take the picture with us. It's a whole lot more fun that way. So we're going to meet right over there.
All right, thanks.
This is good. This is good. All right, guys, just punch in just a bit.
Yes, I
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring that in for a vote. We're just gonna...
All right. So if you're part of the Lori family, you do not need to stick around. Thank you so much for coming. All right. Madam Clerk.
The City Council of Newport Beach welcomes and encourages community participation. Public comments are invited on items listed on the agenda and non-agenda items. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes per person to allow everyone to speak. Written comments are encouraged as well. The City Council has the discretion to extend or shorten the time limit on agenda or non-agenda items.
All right. Before we go into closed session, any public comment? All right. Okay.
Hello, City Council. My name is Miles Patrick Cola. It's nice to see some of you again. If you wouldn't mind, if you can extend my congratulations to my opponent, Sarah Weber. Anytime I've tried to call her, she hasn't picked up the phone. So if you could congratulate her on her win, that'd be much appreciated. During the campaign, one of the big issues that I focused on was trying to make sure that we had a plan in place for the e-bike problem in the city. And if you could elaborate on what the city plans to do moving forward to address that issue, I'd really appreciate that. One of the solutions that I thought would be good is something called geofencing. If your staff wants to look into that, maybe they can explain it to you a little bit better. One of the big issues that is affecting the coastal communities is the rise in sea level and the tidal surge waves that are crashing over the seawall and starting to flood neighborhoods on Balboa Island and parts of the peninsula. I think that we need to create a long-term solution by making early investments to make sure that we have a plan in place to protect those communities from being flooded. And I'm curious to know if there's something in the works that the city has in mind instead of just adding more concrete to the seawall. I don't think that that's going to be a long-term solution. The homelessness issue that we have in the city isn't something that is exclusive to our city, but is a regional problem. And I think we need to come up with a regional solution. And I think the best way to do that is by partnering with some of our neighboring local cities to come up with a coalition so that we can build a bipartisan, broad solution to the homelessness issue that isn't exclusive to our city. Now, I think that we need to make sure that the people who are dealing with are being treated like people and not like problems. I think that we need to understand that each individual person is dealing with individual contributing factors for why they are homeless, and that we need to come up with individual customized solutions to help these people get back on their feet. Right now, as far as I'm aware, the city has one homelessness case manager and one homelessness liaison. And I understand that there's a member of the police department who's also focusing on homelessness. So say there are 3 people at the city level focusing on homelessness. I'm not convinced that that's enough to address homelessness. The city is dealing with a large number of people. There's a lot of cases, and I think that we need to add more staff to address that issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Lee Pearl from Balboa Island, and I thought I'd do one of my rare appearances before the council today to do 2 quick things. To thank Councilmember Avery for his service and support of Newport and the island over the last 8 years. And Mayor, thank you again for all of your support over the last 8 years also. We on the island appreciate all the progress that was done and all of the support from both of you and the rest of the city council. And then finally, you're going to take an action tonight on the Balboa Island Underground project. It's going to be the last action you take, and it was a very interesting project for my wife and I and the team that took on that project. But it's what we call a legacy project. You know, what's going to happen when we're all gone is nobody's going to ever know those power poles were there when they go visit the island, and it's going to be even more beautiful than it is today. So I want to thank the staff, Mike Sinacori. I've worked really closely with Mike on the underground project, and it's ahead of schedule and under budget. So you can't say that very often, especially when COVID hit, prices went up, and things got really scary. And I had some sleepless nights thinking that we were going to go over budget and what were we going to do. So thank you for your time on the council, and appreciate both of you.
Thank you. I can tell you what we were going to do, Lee. We were just going to go hang out with you and Sue and just ask for more money.
One other quick comment. I did have a goal of a picture with the council, and I must not have worked hard enough to get my picture with the council.
I'll tell you what, you hang out before we go into closed session. We'll take that picture, Lee. All right. Any other speakers? All right. Mr. Hart, can you take us into closed session?
Thank you, Mayor O'Neill. The City Council will adjourn to closed session to meet with the city's real property negotiators regarding negotiations with Joseph Berkson related to the property at 301 East Balboa Boulevard, and negotiations with Palmer Lucky regarding a portion of the public right-of-way that's adjacent to 929 Zurich Circle and 944 Violito Nord. And that's all on the agenda under item 4A.
All right. We stand in recess, but council, let's indulge Lee. One last time. Lee, come on down. All right. Welcome back to the November 19th, 2024 regular session of the council meeting. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
The record will reflect that all members of council are present.
Mr. Harp, do we have a closed session report?
Thank you, Mayor O'Neill. We do not have a closed session report.
All right. Tonight, I will go ahead and deliver the invocation. We didn't have anyone sign up. And then please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance that's going to be led by Boy Scout Troop 695. So go ahead and stand up. Okay, gentlemen. I'll tell you what. So, Boy Scout Troop, come on forward. This mic right there is going to be on, so that when you...
Should I do it this way or that way?
You can, why don't you go stand right here? All of you will stand right, perfect, right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the invocation first, and then after I do that, I'll have you lead the pledge. So please bow with me. Lord, thank you for this gathering. Thank you for the ability to live in this nation where we can gather and speak about ideas. We ask that you grant the council members up here with wisdom. We ask that you watch over those people who watch over us. And we thank you for the abundant blessings that you've given into our lives. And these things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Okay. Scouts, salute. Those of you not in uniform, place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated.
Great job, gentlemen. Thank you for coming. All right, Madam Clerk.
The City Council of Newport Beach welcomes and encourages community participation. Public comments are generally limited to 3 minutes per person to allow everyone to speak. Written comments are encouraged as well. The City Council has the discretion to extend or shorten the time limit on agenda or non-agenda items.
All right. Yeah, just FYI, our city clerk's feeling just a little under the weather. So thank you for getting through that. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to go ahead with the City Council announcements and oral reports from City Council on committee activities. Councilmember Kleiman.
No report.
Councilmember Blom.
No report, thank you.
Councilmember Avery.
I have none.
Councilmember Weigand.
Silence, sorry.
Councilmember Grant.
I always have one.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Wait,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Just two events in the last week since we met last week. We had the Citizens Police Academy graduation. I was there with Mayor Pro Tem Stapleton, and we greatly enjoyed the festivities, and also was able to attend today with Councilmember Kleiman, not today, a couple days ago with Councilmember Kleiman, the California Sober Living and Recovery Task Force. We continue to work with the task force, and that cities up and down the state coming together to work on resolutions to sober living homes in our community.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Chief, was that the 52nd Citizen Police Academy? It's just remarkable. It's a testament to your team, and I was able to attend that with Councilwoman Kleiman, and Grant, and it was a home run. Being able to see what these 30 plus residents went through over like in a 12-week course or something. I went through it, class of 45. So to see 52nd class and the numerous people that have gone through it, it was just a kudos to your department, all that you guys do, and all the residents that signed up. If you haven't been through it, I strongly suggest you do that. It's a great thing. And I'll let the mayor talk about the Surfrider Award that Lido House Hotel got, because I was able to attend last night when he presented the award, and it's a great thing.
Yeah. So two quick things. Number one, I attended my last finance committee meeting ever last week, which felt good. And then last night, Mayor Pro Tem and I were at Lido House because Surfrider presented Lido House with their first ever ocean-friendly hotel award, which is a big deal. So Surfrider has created a set of qualifications for hotels to meet. They would then be described as ocean-friendly. I will say, phenomenal idea, because what we've seen is that if when it comes from someone buying in, as opposed to kind of a top-down from a government agency, they really are all in. And so Lido House accepted the award last night, and hopefully we see more hotels go along with it as well. So congratulations to Lido House for being the first one with that award. All right, we're going to go into matters which council members have asked to be placed on a future agenda. They're both non-discussion items. The first one we'll talk about is consider a resolution that provides that any seat on the Finance Committee held by a council member or council member's appointee is automatically vacated once the council member is no longer a member of the City Council, so that really will be my last Finance Committee meeting. We will go ahead and raise your hand if you would like to bring this one back.
That's unanimous, 7-0.
All right. Second one is consider adoption of a resolution amending the resolutions creating the General Plan Advisory Committee and General Plan Update Steering Committee to provide for an annual appointment of members at the first meeting in February of each year. Existing member terms shall expire each February unless the member is reappointed to the GPAC or GPUSC. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, well, I just like some clarity on this. Would you be, I'm willing to vote on something like this. Would you be willing if this came back in January when the new council is seated?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So the first one would come back next meeting.
December 10th, correct?
Yeah, but this one would come back in January?
Correct.
Sure. All right. With that clarification, go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to bring this one back.
Unanimous, 7-0.
All right. All right. Madam Clerk.
This is a time in which council members may pull items from the consent calendar for discussion, 1 through 21. Public comments are also invited on consent calendar items. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes. Before speaking, please state your name for the record. If any item is removed from the consent calendar by a council member, members of the public are invited to speak on each item for up to 3 minutes per item. All matters listed on our consent calendar are considered to be routine and will all be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. Council members have received detailed staff reports on each of the items recommending action. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the City Council votes on the motion unless members of the City Council request specific items to be discussed and are removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
All right. I'm going to take Mayor's prerogative and talk about one of them. I'm not going to pull it, but I just want to mention it briefly, which is item number 17, and we have Nancy Gardner here. This was one of my favorite pieces. In the last 8 years that I've been on council, this was one of my favorite pieces. And the fact that you went ahead and bought it, and I know what you did. I love that your dad is one of your dad's books is referenced. The fact that this one's being preserved, and with the idea of putting it over at the library on Balboa is really cool, and it's one that I really look forward to seeing. So I just want to say thank you because, like I said, this is one of my favorite pieces in the last 8 years, and the fact that you made sure it's being preserved as part of history, city history is a big deal. So I did want to take Mayor's prerogative and just say thank you on this one. All right, council members, any items that you'd like to pull or conflicts you'd report? Councilmember Kleiman.
None.
Councilmember Blom.
I have a recusal on item 12 due to a real property interest at 224 Marine.
Councilmember Avery.
I have none.
Councilmember Weigand.
I do not.
Councilmember Grant.
I have a recusal on 6 for a potential financial impact on a business partner who lives within 500 feet of Buck Gully that is subject of the grant.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
None.
And I have none. We have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move the consent calendar with the recusal of Councilman Grant on item 6 and Councilman Blom on item 12.
All right. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Avery. All right. Public comment on the consent calendar. Okay. We'll bring it back. Let's go ahead and vote.
The motion carries unanimously, 7-0.
All right. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Public comments are invited on non-agenda items generally considered to be within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Speakers must limit comments to 3 minutes. Before speaking, please state your name for the record.
All right. Do we have any public comment on agenda or non-agenda items? Come on forward. You're on an HOA board? Oh my goodness! What bet?
This is pretty sweet.
Yeah. What bet did you lose?
Handle us really well, and you all get along really well. Some reason we don't. So it is what it is. So my name is Al Bruder. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Look to your left and right. What do you see? I see a team of men and women from Newport Beach standing shoulder to shoulder, dedicating their time and resources to ensure that we have a safe and vital community. It would be awkward, wouldn't it, to have someone on the board from Huntington Beach? Why would we pursue the idea to search out of town or state to fill the role of police chief? Our commitment to the community runs deep. Now, my friends and fellow Citizens Academy classmates and I stand before you today with a shared purpose to speak to you about a crucial recruitment for our next police chief. This process is not just a formality, it's a call for the community's voice, our voice, to be heard. We need a leader who embodies our values and understands the pulse of the neighborhoods. As a resident, board member in my community, owner of a successful company, I have the extensive experience of making hiring decisions that matter. I know what it takes to identify the right leader, the right fit. But this is more than just business for me, it's personal. I come from a family of police officers, and public safety is not just a topic of discussion, it's a cause that is near and dear to my heart. Moreover, Mayor O'Neill, who oversees my district, has recently spoken about the immense budget of our police department. This underscores the importance of selecting the right person for the job, someone who can not only manage resources effectively, but also inspire trust and collaboration within our community. We, your residents, those who elect you, firmly believe that Dave Miner, our current acting deputy chief, should be our next chief. Dave is not merely a leader. He is a beacon of safety in our community, a steadfast guardian in turbulent times. With an exceptional leadership team by his side, Lieutenant Brad Miller, Sergeant Steve Oberon, he embodies excellence. They are incredible leaders. They stand as ambassadors and representatives of the Newport Beach Police Department, a team that I would proudly want representing my company. This is not just a recommendation. This is a call to action. He deserves to be the next chief of police. Bottom line, he has made me feel safe. He has made my family feel safe. My neighbors feel safe. In a world where uncertainty looms like a dark cloud, that feeling is priceless. We treasure a treasure that we cannot afford to lose. We need someone like Dave Miner at the helm, guiding us with unwavering integrity and unyielding courage. Let us not let this opportunity slip away into the shadows. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Yeah, we don't do that either. Go ahead.
Mayor O'Neill, members of the council. My name is Jim Mosier, and as you may know, I'm a member of your General Plan Advisory Committee, but speaking as an individual, since none of you made that announcement, I wanted to announce that tomorrow night at 6 p.m., when the Planning Commission is meeting where you are sitting, right across the breezeway in the community room, the city will be hosting the second of its 4 general plan update workshops. The subject tomorrow night will be coastal resilience and safety, which refers to the concepts in our general plan that we want our city to be built and continue to be built in a way that is protected from the dangers that we face and has an ability to recover from any kind of harm that we might suffer, whether it's natural or man-made. Speaking as an individual, I want to say that I, as a GPAC member, but as an individual, I'm truly interested in what the public has to say so that our new general plan will truly reflect the concerns of the community and their priorities. However, at the first of the workshops, which was held a week ago, only 2 members of the public showed up. I hope we'll have a better showing tomorrow night, and I hope you can do whatever outreach you can, and anyone listening will consider coming tomorrow night at 6 o'clock in the community room to discuss the city's plan for coastal resilience and safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? All right. Bring it back and go into the item that has brought a bunch of former mayors with us. Item number 21, placement of original wooden city seal from the former city council chambers. Does anyone need a staff report on this? I'm actually going to be honest, I'm more interested in hearing the Centennial Mayor. All right. Love you, Dave. The other web. Just an FYI for my colleagues, I've been requested and approved a 6-minute presentation as opposed to 3. And if it even goes a little over that, I'm sure we'll be okay. But
And believe it or not, even though Dave is the third Webb to be Public Works Director, none of the 3 of us are related.
see, I knew you'd know history. There you go.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you very much for the opportunity to review the origin and history of our city seal. Next. On September 1st, 1906, this is where the city council meetings were held, on the McFadden's Wharf at the train station. And our first city seal was probably approved here. Next. As you can see, the city seal shows clouds over waves breaking at the ocean. We found no record of there being any colors attached to this seal. This seal served the city well for the first 51 years of its existence. For the city's golden anniversary in 1956, a logo was created. Next. Which added boats and an anchor in the ocean surrounded by a life preserver. Some in the community felt it was time for a more modernization and update of our city seal. In early 1957, then city manager Bob Shelton, you may all remember him, he passed away just a few years ago, contacted local California scenes artist Rex Brandt about creating a new seal. Next. Rex Brandt was a well-established California watercolor artist who had a studio dubbed Blue Sky at the end of Goldenrod. We've recognized that with a plaque, by the way. He was commissioned to design a new city seal that featured the ocean, our boating interest, and the nautical theme. Next. This is the oldest representation on record of the city seal that Rex Brandt designed, which was adopted by the City Council Ordinance 814 on the 22nd of July of 1957. It hangs in the city clerk's office. Along with the city seal adoption in that same ordinance, they adopted a color scheme with 3 colors, and these are paint chips from that time frame that show the seal, the color the seal is supposed to be. This city seal is now displayed on all official documents, vehicles, and in or on most city buildings, except it is not displayed on the exterior of any building in the Civic Center complex. It's not visible. Next. In about 1992, our city's sign shop created 2 8-foot diameter seals. One was hung on the lifeguard headquarters. I took this picture not too terribly long ago, so it's still there, some 30 years later. And next. The other one was hung on the old City Hall site on the Prof Tech building. As you can see, now I'm advertising a little bit of the 1995 Public Works staff there. We had a good one back then, too. It was there until 2001 when it was moved to the front wall of the City Council chambers, shown over there. When the old City Hall was decommissioned in 2013, the seal was put into storage at the city yard. Next. When this new City Hall was opened in 2013, there were 3 facsimiles of our seal on the City Council chambers. This one on the wall next to the entry drive, one in the council chamber, which has been placed by official seal, and one in the conference room, which has been removed. The architectural design team did not consult or run this facsimile seal design by the City Council City Hall Building Committee at the time, before it was installed. From any distance, the details of this facsimile do not correctly represent the features of our official city seal. In addition, the colors that were adopted with the seal are not there. Next. Those entering the Civic Center should be welcomed by our city's true symbol, the official city seal. In the back of the room, that's the seal that can be installed on that wall. Dave had his guys bring that down just so you could get a feel of the size of it, what it really looks like. It is recommended that the facsimile seal be removed first to see if its mounting place can be restored without leaving a scar. If a scar is left to cover it up, you can place the seal in this location. It will fit. It will still be about 3.5 feet off the ground. Next. You might recognize some of these people. Most of them are sitting in the audience. Ed said he wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. I represent myself and 6 more who have served as our city's mayor between 2006 and 15. This includes all 4 members of the Council City Hall Building Committee. We all support the installation of our city's official seal on the wall adjacent to the Civic Center entry drive. Next. This is the symbol of our great city that should welcome all that drive into our Civic Center complex. Please have this city seal installed on the wall adjacent to the entry drive. Next. Some might say that the facsimile of the seal now on the entry wall is in violation of our municipal code. If you read through that, I'll let you be the judge. Thank you for extending my time on this item and giving me the opportunity to make this presentation, and I hope you vote favorably for installing this on the wall out there. Any questions?
No, you answered that. I was going to ask the question about the removal of the facsimile, but you answered that, so I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So we'll go ahead and before we go out for full public comment, any questions or comments up here? Yep, Councilmember Grant.
I'll just comment and thank you, former Mayor Webb, walk-in Don Webb, Centennial Mayor Webb, whatever you want to be called. You have consistently over so many years been available to us as a community with so much historical information, and you've been just a great resource, and we are really lucky to have you and your longevity and being interested in even doing this. So I personally do appreciate all the work that you did on this and other things that you do for us in this city. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Councilmember Avery.
Yeah, I just think it's great that so many folks that have been close to the community, and particularly our former mayors, and just still involved in the community and showing up at events and doing things. And it just shows that the care that's felt to the city by the experiences had on city council. And I think all of us kind of get that after a while, because we realize what a great city it is, and that's when you really learn about it. And all the people that work at the city are just terrific. I think obviously there's issues here and there, but it's like all of us. We've traveled around the cities, and no city looks like this when you roll into town, no matter which direction you come from. It's just exceptional, the work that's been done, and it's just we're standing on the shoulders of the former mayors, and it's very apparent that you still care a great deal about the city. So thank you, Don.
Thank you. All right, we'll go into public comment on this item. Any public comment?
Mayor O'Neill, members of the council, my name is Jim Mosier. I support the idea of restoring the 8-foot seal to a prominent display. I would note that the staff report suggested a number of alternative locations where it could go, and I would question whether this north wall of this building is the ideal place to put it. My experience in this new Civic Center, relatively new Civic Center complex, is people who do drive in don't pay a whole lot of attention to that wall. They park in the parking garage, and if they are trying to find a meeting that they've been told is in the city council chamber, and I think it's chamber rather than chambers, they're at a loss as to what building is the city council chambers from the point of view of somebody coming out of the parking garage rather than somebody driving in. So I would suggest something more visible from that direction might be good. And of the suggestions in the staff report, one that made sense to me would be to put the seal on the giant wall where there's a kind of an elevator structure next to the community room out here on the side facing the parking lot. That would give these buildings, the community room and this room, the appearance of being more official or having some importance to them rather than just the blank wall that people see now. That would be a good place. And another alternative, if you wanted to protect it from the weather, would be to put it out here, opposite where it is here in the breezeway on this wall, so that people approaching these would see this particular building in the complex identified as something important. When people are lost, I don't think they're going to see something on the north wall. So I would recommend exploring alternative locations. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Adam Leverins, wherever it's placed, whether it be on this wall right over here or one of the locations Jim mentioned or somewhere else, I would encourage thought be put in to placing an eave or something over it to keep the weather off, reduce maintenance costs and make it last longer, keep it around for another 50 years. And judging by the photo out here, it looks like some sort of cap could be placed on top of the wall, which wouldn't obstruct visibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? All right, bring it back. Let's see, Mayor Pro Tem.
I just want to say how great it is to see all of you here. A lot of institutional knowledge there for sure. My only comment is I'm fully supportive of putting this piece of history somewhere here at City Hall. For me, I like the architectural look when you pull into City Hall at the moment. I was in Chicago in the airport this weekend or yesterday, and I was walking into the American Airlines terminal, and they had this beautiful illuminated American Airlines logo above the terminal when you walked in. And it got me thinking, one of the suggested locations was when you pull into the parking structure. So as you pull into the parking structure, if you had the logo, the city seal, on the side of the parking structure when you pull in, it just felt like it'd be a very nice welcoming to City Hall into the parking structure. I do believe if you come down Avocado, obviously you wouldn't see it. I don't know if you turn in, I don't even notice the city logo, the city seal that's on the side of this council chambers now. That being said, if council is more in favor of putting it on the side of this building, I'd be supportive of that as well. I just think it would be a nice welcoming to the parking structure, but that's my 2 cents.
Any other discussion? All right, Councilmember Weigand.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve this item as Centennial Mayor Webb has proposed. I think when you're in the sculpture garden, the seal is big enough that you can see it and admire it as a piece of art, which it also is on top of being our city seal. So I think it fits in that location as described. It is protected from the wind. It is protected from the afternoon sun, the coastal breeze of salt air. And when we get rainstorms, they tend to come from the ocean. So that rain, I don't think, will hit it as much as it would if it were facing another location. So I think it's in a good spot. As far as the removal of the modern seal, if there is a blemish, I think I'd encourage staff to kind of try to figure out resolving the blemish. I think it looks best on the right-hand side of the lettering, and maybe have to have a conversation if for some reason it is a significant blemish, but I don't think that it would be. So I'd like to move forward with it being on the right-hand side of the lettering, and that would be my motion.
Yeah, go ahead and second that. I think this is going to be pretty cool. Any other discussion? Nope. All right, let's go ahead and vote.
With Councilmember Kleiman voting no, the motion carries 6-1.
All right. We're going to move into item number 22. By the way, thank you for the effort on this one. It's good history. Actually, I'd never seen the first seal before, so that was interesting to see that. All right. I'll move into item number 22, the appointment of a civil service board member to fill an unscheduled vacancy. I don't think we'll need a staff report on this one, so we'll go into public comment on this. Do we have any public comment on item number 22?
Mayor O'Neill, members of the council, my name is Jim Mosher, looking at the agenda, it appears that you're being asked to select one of two nominees for our Civil Service Board. And I just wanted to point out that the people of Newport Beach do have a city charter, and the city charter is supposed to govern the actions of the city council and the city staff. And our city charter requires that you make this appointment from a list of 3 people. In my opinion, my math may be a little fuzzy, but I don't think 2 is the same as 3. And I'm not sure what the argument is that you are being asked to choose from a list of 2 when the charter clearly says you're supposed to choose from a list of 3. The argument could be that there were not enough applications, but apparently there were 3 applications. The argument could be that the current Civil Service Board didn't think there were 3 qualified applicants. But in that case, to fulfill the charter requirement, they should ask the clerk to re-advertise the position and get the 3. So I really don't see how you can choose from a list of 2 when the charter says you need to choose from a list of 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public's comment on this one? Or bring it back. Mr. Harp.
So I think you can go ahead and move forward this evening. You know, the chart does say there's supposed to be 3, but it also says it's from recommendation from the library board. And because there weren't, or Civil Service Board, and because, you know, they only recommended 2 to you, it's sort of an impossibility type of argument, and I think you can go ahead and move forward.
Okay. All right. Any discussion up here before we vote? All right. Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote.
Councilmember Weigand voted for Michael Denner. Councilmember Grant, Michael Denner. Councilmember Avery, Michael Denner. Councilmember Blom, Michael Denner. Councilmember Kleiman, Michael Denner. Mayor Pro Tem Stapleton, Michael Denner. And Mayor O'Neill, Michael Denner. So he is the new appointee.
Congratulations, Mr. Denner. Enjoy the Civil Service Board. All right, Madam Clerk.
Motion to reconsider the vote on any action taken by the City Council at either this meeting or the previous meeting may be made only by one of the council members who voted with the prevailing side.
All right. Any motions? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.